Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about a couple of cards in an oracle deck called Angels Among Us. It's a really cute deck. I've had it for a while. I don't really use it that much, but I just like seeing it there. It's by Victoria Maxwell and Ellie Grant. And so I'm Indian and I'm Hindu, and I was born and raised in the US to South Indian Hindu parents. And we got here in the early 70s, and this is like the immigrant story for a lot of people my age. So I'm the first generation American, born and raised here in the US. You know, I have very strong roots to Indian culture. My home was basically Indian, and we went to India a lot as we grew up, and I went on my own as well. So I really love it. It's a very textured place. It can be difficult. There are a lot of contradictions. There's, like any other very like legacy kind of culture, it's all over the map in the best of ways and the worst of ways and everything in between, and I love it. And so that being said, I also love, I'm kind of like a Hindu witch, I guess. I'm not like, I've studied Hinduism like at college, and, things I read, and I ask my family about things, and, I've actually learned a lot about Sanatana Dharma and Hinduism from other practitioners around the world, and just their lectures and how and talking about quantum physics and how all these things relate, can be related to older religions and Sanskrit and primordial sound and all of that stuff. So anyways, I also have always been intrigued with tarot and oracle, and the art's just getting amazing. That's a big thing, but I love archetype and symbols and things like that. So when I see decks that are kind of rendered in a cool and different way, like this one, it's like a representation of, like Merlin, Archangel Gabriel, that's really cool, Thoth, Saint Bridget, or Brigid, and Mother Mary, and Kuan Yin, and they're all like kind of more like younger, but also just like more relatable in the way that they're being represented, very colorful. And in none of these cards, I don't feel like there's, a lot of conflict in terms of like showing them as sad or tortured. It's just very welcoming. I really like it. And it has that kind of God and goddess energy that's very welcoming. So that's why I bought it, and it's like really bright and colorful. And so I'm going to talk about today Lord Ganesha and Goddess Lakshmi. Lord S. Lakshmi? I wonder if that works, or just Lord Lakshmi. Anyways, in the deck, their numbers 28 and 29, so they're in succession of each other in the deck. And it's really cute. Like, I really like how they showed it. Like, Lakshmi has a nose ring. She looks like that girl from The Good Place, or that woman from The Good Place, the actress Jamil, I think is her name. And she's holding the lotus. She looks very open, and she looks like herself. She looks kind of more abundant, and it says beauty, fortune, and prosperity. So this definitely is about prosperity, like in your humanity and how you treat yourself and treat other people, but also material wealth and just like good luck in general, good luck. And I really like her tattoos in here, which are, also lotuses. So it's really beautiful. I really like that. And I really like how it's different from the normal visuals that we get. And Lord Ganesha, I think, is super adorable. I really love his outfit with the lotus shirt, an elephant on his t-shirt, and then a mouse on his trucker's hat, which is really cool. And the mouse is like his companion, or his like traveler, like what he travels on or with. And Ganesha's hands, what Ganesha traditionally carries in his hand is what's tattooed on his arm. So I guess it's like the axe and the Padma, again, the lotus. So anyways, I think it's really scruffy and adorable. And in the guidebook, they also said, I was just curious to see what they said, but basically the remover of obstacles is what they also put in here, and clear path ahead. And one thing that they put in there, which I thought was good, was that the understanding that a lot of us create our own obstacles, and thus we have the power to also transmute that or change that within ourselves to actually dissolve that obstacle or break through it as well. So I really liked that they had that in there. And yeah, so I was just wondering, this deck isn't like to show like a brand new way of looking at these traditional gods and goddesses, or like academically speaking, or trying to make like a religious statement or anything like that. It's just, some people, it may not be their cup of tea, but for some reason, I really like that imagining, and I think it's very friendly. And a lot of these images sometimes can lack that, I think Hinduism sometimes, in my experience, not an official or professional opinion, in my experience, can lack that kind of connection to a person that, say Christianity has humans, demigods, but humans that, walked this earth, that in more recent history, that I just feel like, when you can imagine someone as being embodied, it's easier to have those feelings, to have those feelings that someone's looking out for you, and sometimes with Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma, I think that maybe this wasn't the intent, but sometimes that gets lost. It's like, it can be very like Vedic, it can be like very mantra heavy, it can be very like tradition heavy, it can be kind of like abstract at times. And I know a lot of people would say actually Hinduism might be the exact opposite of that, but that's just personally how I've experienced, or what I've noticed the differences are. Now I've also read about Catholic mystics and saints and all kinds of people, and then I don't necessarily read, and this might be in Sanskrit or Hindi or even in Tamil, which is what we speak, that have these kind of devotionals or writings that seem a bit more like salient, I guess, and as close as people get in Christianity to the Son of God. So anyway, all of that to say that it's really nice to see them being personified in such a way, and it helps. I just like it. It just helps with me seeing my own tradition and culture kind of in a positive thing, that what Christianity does, which is personify their holy people or their holy spirits. And now I have that visual aspect of, well, at least in the confines of this deck. So I think it's really cool, but I'm wondering how other people think of it, and if if they like it, if they don't like it, because I'm always like, I always think about these things, like what's the future of Hinduism with people who are like me, like go to India and stuff, or, you know, both parents are Indian, but maybe are born and raised in another country with a non-Hindu like religion. Like, what's their Hinduism like? What are their children's Hinduism going to be like? What do, you know, in Hinduism, what I've been told from my parents and my family is that if you're born Hindu, if you're born, then that's what you are. Like, you can explore different beliefs, you can believe in whatever you want to believe, but, you know, that's what you are. And so it's like, that's a great sense of belonging. I think also coming with that, though, means that Hinduism is going to be changing in ways that, from like origin Hindus, I guess, that, you know, Hinduism is going to be changing in ways that that none of us expected, you know, just by the pure fact that Hindus are beginning to pray differently and incorporating a lot of things from different areas of the world at a much higher rate. And even with non-Indian Hindus, so people who are not necessarily ethnically Indian, who were raised in Hindu household or going to yoga, or, you know, because it's like, it's everywhere now. It's, you know, it's in, all these things are mixing, and it's really cool. And I'm just, you know, I think about what that means for Hinduism in the future. So anyways, my air conditioning is very loud. Sorry about that. And my light's diminishing. So I'm going to call it. But I was just wondering if any of you guys had decks where you see representations of your culture, your tradition that you like, or if you're making your own, or like if you're like kind of a witchy person like me, either Hindu or non, and you get like sort of like mystical spiritual value from different representations than what your tradition shows. I would like to hear about it and see those decks. So anyways, thanks again for stopping by, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.